At the time of this incident, Robert Barrington Lee was a 20 years old student who had genius-level intellect. He was doing math equation from a very young age, which surprised the adults. In high school, he and 6 other students were able to beat 20,000 other students to be in the national math team. Later, he went to Scotland to compete in the International Mathematical Olympiad. He went to the University of Toronto to major in mathematics and physics. In the second year of his studies, he was already taking graduate-level courses and challenging the professors. He was not only a smart person, but also down to earth, was a pianist, and enjoyed the outdoors. He also had a girlfriend named Lucy Zhang, which he met just few months before this incident. Robert was on his summer break and decided to visit families. On August 13th of 26, Robert left his family house, got on his blue Raleigh mountain bike, and went to meet his friends at Folk Fest Music Festival. This was a 2-mile ride and not far from his house. At 11:30 p.m., Robert sent his girlfriend a text message that he was at Queen Elizabeth Park and wished her well for her exams. Lucy said there was nothing abnormal about him. He never contacted his friends that night, and a search quickly started. The authorities brought bloodhound dogs, but they didn't pick up a scent. They also searched Mill Creek and North Saskatchewan River with no success. His father stated Robert was a straight, honest, good kid who wouldn't get into trouble willfully. He believed there was foul play involved. On August 18th, 5 days after Robert went missing, authorities called off the search. On August 22nd, almost 10 days after Robert went missing, Alan Flynn, the owner of River Tour West, decided to see if he can find the body. Surprisingly, he found the body and called the police. They found his body not far from his house. It was found on the other side of the river where his house was, and where he sent his last text to his girlfriend. There were no violent sign on the body, and it was fully clothed. He still had his watch and wallet in his pocket. The authorities only claimed the death wasn't criminal, and the cause of death was never released. What happened to Robert remains a mystery to this day. Ryan Matt was a 20 years old student who studied at Connecticut State University in Plainville, Connecticut. On April 26, 2003, he went to a residential party with some of his friends in Bidford Pool, Maine. His friends stated he got intoxicated and started walking away from the house at 11 p.m. When friends couldn't locate Ryan, he was reported missing, and the next day a massive search was started with few hundreds of people along the police using helicopters, dogs, boats, and planes, but nothing was found. 2 months later, a man on a boat found the body in the Saco River. Ryan had his clothes on, but was missing his shoes and socks. His wallet was found about 10 feet from the body in the water offshore. The cause of death was not released. If Ryan was a victim of robbery, why his wallet was not taken? We will never know what really happened to Ryan. Stephanie Stewart was a 70-year-old woman who lived at Hinton, Alberta. She was an 18-year veteran of the Alberta National Resource Group that maintains a vigil at 128 lookouts across the province. Stephanie worked and lived at a cabin at Athabasca Lookout. There is beautiful valley in the lookout, and there is a desolate road that goes all the way to Stephanie's cabin. Close to the cabin is a 40-foot tall lookout that is not easy to climb. There is a modified ladder inside the lookout that makes it possible. Stephanie was no ordinary 70-year-old. She was a fit woman. Those who work at the lookout are supposed to check in with their command 3 times a day. On August 26, Stephanie missed all 3 calls in one day, and a supervisor was sent to check on her. When the supervisor arrived at Stephanie's cabin, he saw a pot of water on the stove with the stove burning. Also, her pillows, blankets, and sheets were missing. Her truck was on site, but Stephanie was nowhere to be found. In few hours, hundreds of searchers came to the area and started looking for Stephanie. This was one of the largest searches in the history of Alberta. Authorities brought in canines, helicopters, planes, ground team, and divers. The investigators believed she was attacked by a human and treated the case as an abduction. There was a $20,000 reward for whoever would find Mrs. Stewart. It's worth mentioning that a criminal who would abduct Stephanie would have to travel the only road that led to her cabin. If a car drove to her cabin, the authorities should have been able to say what car it was, but there was no mentioning of that ever. Authorities used FLIR on helicopter, which shows any heat signature, but there was nothing found. Also, they could have used the satellite to locate Stephanie, but they didn't or didn't say anything about it. Stephanie Stewart was never found. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos.